It certainly hasn't all been about cuts by any means, and that's good news, because the President specifically said in his opening comments that we mustn't be fixated by cuts. But I think genuinely and naturally we haven't really focused there. I think we have tried to focus on the sort of opportunities and the creativity that's going to be required to get organisations through the obviously very difficult times ahead. If anything, I would say that finance directors seem pretty confident at the moment about their ability to deliver the budgets that were set a few months ago. It's really important we're not complacent about that, though. You know, that's a terribly important first challenge. Obviously, we need to start to get some focus on the budgets for next year as well, but we also need to keep a very close eye on performance in the current year and make sure that all of our targets and the difficult changes that organisations are trying to make, all of that's being done well and being done successfully. Well, the government's proposals have, of course, been out to consultation recently. We've now got the Select Committee report on the Audit Commission. It'd be very interesting to see what the government then come through with in response to the Select Committee's views and the representations made by consultees. It's obviously critically important that we end up with an effective, affordable, sustainable system of local public audit. It may not be the most glamorous activity in the world, but in terms of public accountability, it's an absolutely critical activity. So I hope that the government will reflect on all of the views that are submitted to them, and that eventually we will end up with a good, robust system that really works and serves us well. Well, we've expressed some concerns about the need for independent appointment of auditors. We're very strong on the principles of good public audit that were published a few years ago, and for us independence is a critically important issue. Additionally, I think of course there are some significant issues about how competitive the market will be as we move to a sort of more market-based approach, and I think it is worrying particularly how competitive the market will be in parts of the country where there aren't local offices of firms that are experienced in public audit. For me, that means that the future of the District Audit Service, the Audit Commission's in-house auditor, is very, very important. I think probably the best option available there now is the sort of mutualisation option, and personally I hope that that's given a good opportunity to succeed. Well, I think very simply we would hope that as part of localism we end up with strong, vibrant local authorities that have the ability to raise significant resources locally and fund services to meet local needs. And as you know, over the years we've drifted to a system that really doesn't feel as though it's got those characteristics. It feels as though it's got, it's heavily controlled by the centre. I think inevitably we're at the stage where people are nervous about the changes that are being proposed, particularly in relation to the repatriation of the business rate. I think people are bound to be worried about the shares of resources that they're entitled to under those arrangements, and it's probably human nature in those circumstances to sort of focus on the downside rather than the possible upside. But again, my hope would be, I feel that that's a step in the right direction. Ideally, I'd like to see the business rate set locally, as well as the resources raised by it retained locally. I think we have to regard this as a positive step in the right direction. We probably have to reserve judgment until we've seen some of the detail before we really, form a view about how positive. But let's be upbeat and sort of focus on the upside if we can.